I just watched a video from my good friend Federico. You'll recognize that iconic view from his beautiful apartment. And I just had to do a response. Now, the title of this video was Watches That Attract Women, right? And Federico, I mean, whoo, that's a tricky one. I mean, Federico, you're a brave one. You are a brave one. But I have to do this video. I just have to do this video. Anyway, I will do a wristwatch check in just a moment when we get into the actual video, because I'm wearing this specifically for this particular episode. But without further ado, let's guys, I gotta show you something.
The picture right there, big, bold. People know it's expensive, or at least they think it's expensive, and that will certainly turn heads. However, I've also seen a lot of women comment on pretty inexpensive watches just because they follow these trends. Something like a Swiss Legend, or even one of these Invicta Russian diamonds. You know, they look big.
Wait. Let's see his face again.
Or even one of these Invicta Russian diamonds.
You could tell he didn't want to say it. But you got to respect Federico. I mean, pains him to say it, being a luxury watch guy. But I mean, you got to admire his dedication to the subject.
Or even one of these Invicta Russian diamonds. You know. One of these Invicta.
Priceless. That little pause. Priceless. Absolutely priceless. Anyway, guys, let's roll the intro and get into this subject. Okay, welcome back, guys. So, watches that attract women. Now, this is a really dangerous subject because it could go so wrong, and it's probably why I've never tackled it before. But I got to hand it to Federico for making that effort. So I thought I'd kind of chime in with my own observations from over the years of wearing and enjoying watches. Now, first of all, I didn't do a wristwatch check, but I am wearing my little day date. This is the Tudor day date. Let's see if it focuses. This is a two-tone. I've got it on a plain little NATO, the James Bond NATO, not the new Omega James Bond, but the old school NATO. Anyway, as you can see, it's a two-tone gold dial. Absolutely love this piece from the 80s. Actually, this is my birth year watch, so something quite special. But I'm wearing it specifically for this video because this particular watch, and maybe a Seiko that I don't own anymore, and I owned this way before I had a channel back in my music industry days, wasn't the Flightmaster. It's actually the watch that superseded the Flightmaster. I cannot remember the reference, but I'll put a picture up here if I can. That particular watch was completely gold plated. And it's the only other watch, apart from this one, that I've ever received compliments from the opposite sex. Now, what do they both have in common? They both had, gave off the impression of a precious metal. So it's quite interesting. I wonder if there's got to be a connection there, because I've never received a compliment on any other watches from the opposite sex, apart from these two watches. Obviously, I don't want to generalize all of women's tastes. The last thing I want to do is offend anybody. But women generally, and I'm judging on the statistics from my analytics, 97% of my audience are male. So generally, women aren't into watches as much as men are, and that's a very safe, that's fact, okay, that is fact. Of course, there are exceptions to that. There are many women who are in the Facebook group and regularly comment down below. Some of you are among the most ardent urban gentry supporters, and I really appreciate that. Now, something I noticed in Federico's video was he based his kind of recommendations on the assumption that loud and the more gaudy, more kind of fashion eccentric, larger, more flashy is better. Now he also, and I've got to point this out, he did very rightfully say that you're going to attract a certain type of person with watches like that. Not necessarily the women maybe you want to take home to your parents, right? You lot know I'm married. I've been married for quite a long time. I was very, very fortunate to meet the love of my life and get married quite early on in life. Maybe that is an indication that I kind of know a little bit about what I'm talking about when it comes to this subject. So I have no idea about online dating and all of this modern stuff that you guys have to deal with. I really don't envy you. When I was, before I got married, before I settled down, you know, I sound like an old man, but before I got involved in a serious relationship, I was always the guy amongst my friends to go and talk to girls. I wasn't particularly good at it, but I was always the one pushed. You know, my friends would always push me to go and talk to girls, and I was the kind of go-between. And this kind of brings me back to observations of those days, that a watch should be the garnishing on one's outfit. You should never depend on one object to do the talking for you. You know, never depend on anything, really, apart from, you know, your own charm, your own manners, your own sense of humor, intelligence, because that's honestly what's going to attract the opposite sex. Obviously, if you're a better looking bloke, you're gonna have, it's gonna be easier, obviously. But you know, if the second you open your mouth and all that comes out is nothing, or you haven't got a personality and a bit of charm and a bit of some manners to back it up with, all hope is lost. So never depend on a watch to attract women, because honestly, you're gonna attract the wrong type of women. If you want loud and gaudy and kind of, you want to go for the gold digger, then obviously a massive gold president with bling on is certainly going to get the attention. Maybe not the attention, you know, with the, what are they called? Not black, is it black widows? I think Federico mentioned it. Maybe not the attention you really need. So honestly, my best advice is to kind of go a little bit understated. Stick to something classy. If you want to bring a bit of pizzazz, a bit of personality, then do something like this. Hold on, let me show you. This is a great example. You saw this the other day. Beautiful, beautiful ostrich strap there. Or go for a suede. This is a really nice suede strap there. You can get them in all kinds of colors. Really dress up a piece. And the thing is, as we've mentioned, women generally don't know as much about watches as men do. Of course, there's always exceptions. So you can take advantage. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Go with something with a beautiful eye-catching dial, like Orient Bambino. It really doesn't cost that much. Dress it up with a bit of pizzazz, with a lovely suede, ostrich, or a crocodile strap. Being understated, being a bit more elegant, a bit more refined, trust me, is always the best way to go. Women really look out for, and I'm quoting from my own wife and women I know, they like somebody that dresses well, not over the top. Don't make too much effort that it looks desperate, you know. Dress neatly, with a bit of class, with a bit of, you know, you don't have to go a full three-piece suit unless you really want to. Dress a little bit more smarter than you usually would, and make the watch match the outfit, match the strap to the belt or to the shoes, this kind of thing. Attention to detail. Women rarely notice this kind of thing. I'm talking from experience. My wife has impeccable taste. She's extremely sophisticated, one of the most intelligent, cultured, educated people I know. So trust me, they notice that extra little bit of effort. The make, it doesn't have to be a 20 grand Rolex. Honestly, if you get a Bambino and dress it up well with a good outfit, you're solid, you are gold. Focus on the other things. Your hair, smelling good. Make sure your shirt is ironed. No dirt under the fingernails, that kind of thing. Make sure you've polished your shoes. The watch should be the last thing. And I say again, if a woman is attracted by the watch, then generally it's a bad sign. Unless she's into watches, then it's great. It's a combined effort. It's everything working in tandem together, matching and complementing each other, from the materials to the colors. People are constantly looking for a quick fix, you know. Oh, if I buy this watch, every woman is gonna love me. It's like everything in life. It goes back to what we've been saying in previous episodes, that a lot of the style blogs and the fashion blogs, when it comes to watches, they get it absolutely wrong. It's got to match, it's got to work, it's got to complement the outfit. You don't want to have a watch that is just so, sends out the wrong signal. It's got to be a reflection of your taste, of your style. It's got to say something about your personality. The adage is bigger is better, but honestly, less is more. If you dress up the watch correctly, it can have that greater effect. When I go out, I tend to wear my kind of lucky watches that have a bit more of a personal connection, sentimental value, like my Submariner. That's my lucky watch, because if somebody does compliment me on my watch, I can immediately refer to a story or a place I've been or a memory associated with that timepiece. Then you've got instantly something to talk about. You know, that's always a great place to start. I love talking about watches, as you know. It's a conversation starter, okay? So try and keep it tasteful, because if you wear a watch that a pimp would wear, you know, what are people going to think? They're automatically going to form impressions about your character, about your personality, about your taste. But look, there is no rules. We're talking more about fashion and trends and styles here. I have a good friend of mine who wears only solid gold pieces and quite loud. He drives sports cars, always has his hair slicked back. His favorite watch is the Rolex, the Patriot, right? Very loud. I envy him. I wish I could pull it off. You have to be a certain type. If that's your personality, then by all means. But he works in a particular industry, that he deals with a particular type of people. Goes without saying, you know, that's his personality. It suits him. It doesn't really suit. You've got to suit the watch, you know. You don't want to have a watch that doesn't match your personality. This is very crucial. Now, going back to what I said in the beginning about most women not being into watches, this is actually an advantage. And if we take anything from my wristwatch check and the gold Seiko that I owned, is that precious metals, they attract more attention. So you can take advantage of this. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You can get a gold-plated Orient, an Orient Star Classic, for example, gold-plated Seiko, and just dress it down a bit. Great thing about yellow golds and rose gold is you can really have fun with the straps. They really work well with brighter colored straps. So you can dress very plainly and then have something that pops a little more. My little day date here is probably the #1 watch I've received the most comments from the opposite sex. And it's interesting because at the end of the day, it's not necessarily the watch, it's everything working in tandem together. The combination of what you're wearing with the watch, with the strap, that kind of thing, you know, get everything else right and then complete it with the watch. That is my general advice. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Please don't forget to share your stories. I'd love to hear what watches you've received the most compliments on. Please do share down below. I can't wait to hear this. Something actually I've always kind of wondered about as well, so please don't forget to share your experiences. What watch do you get the most compliments on from your collection? Please do share down below. I'm absolutely sweating buckets. I had to turn the aircon off so I could shoot this video because otherwise it mucks up the sound. So I need to go and cool down. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it and found it useful. It really does help me, so please don't forget to hit that like button, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao. And here we are, joined by the fire department. Thank you very much, guys. So maybe... Fantastic. So I'm just going to keep going. This is New York. This happens. So my